It's a very strange thing to feel done or restless with something that's technically working. You've built the system, you've mastered the job, maybe you're even earning like a lot of recognition, and then you kind of feel nothing. That really used to make me feel broken, like I was never satisfied or there was something wrong with me. What I've come to realize is that feeling is actually a sign. In this video, I'll give you 3 effective strategies to use next time you feel a little bit restless or if things aren't feeling quite right. As an INTJ and an Olympian, I've hit this point many times in my life. And I've also worked with many of my clients that experience similar issues, feeling stuck in many areas of their lives. You can click the link below for loads of free resources or a one-on-one call with me. But if you're anything like me, maybe some of this will sound familiar. You learn fast, but you lose interest really quickly. You master or become proficient at something, but then start thinking about the next thing. You might feel restless or scattered and you don't feel challenged anymore. You've walked away from roles, projects, or even relationships because you've stopped feeling alive. You feel guilty for wanting more because everything looks fine on the outside. Or you just keep asking yourself, why can't I be satisfied with this? If that's you, you're not alone and you are not flawed. You've just hit something that most people don't talk about. It reminds me of this story. For those of you who don't know, Tarzan is a boy who grew up in the jungle raised by apes. Tarzan didn't walk through the jungle, he swung on vine. Vine to vine, that's how he moved. It's how he stayed off the ground, he stayed ahead, and he stayed free. When he was younger, he could use all of the vines that were available. Most of them were small. They were all close together, they were light, they were flexible, and they were really easy for him to grab. He didn't need much strength and he could swing from one to the other without thinking. The jungle really felt simple. But as he grew, those vines couldn't hold him anymore. They bent under his weight, some even snapped. He needed something stronger. And the stronger vines, well, they weren't so close together anymore. They were higher, further, and riskier. At first he hesitated. He really stuck with what felt safe, even when it wasn't working. And they continued to slow him down, bending, snapping under his weight. He clung to the vines that no longer supported him, not because they were right, because they were familiar. Eventually things began to change. He began to use the intermediate vines, not to stay on, but to support his transition. That way he didn't need to let go until he was already holding on to the next one. Each swing became more precise. He got stronger and he got more strategic, and he started letting go just as the next one came into reach. And with time, he didn't need to see the whole path anymore. He could feel the rhythm. He could trust his grip, his timing, and his ability to land. The vines didn't change or get easier. He got better and he continued to grow. He could now reach and grip vines he'd never even considered when he was younger. And with every leap, he had more freedom. Throughout my life in so many different things, I'd learn it, I'd get good at it, I'd be kind of like proficient at it, and then I would wonder why I didn't want to do it anymore. Shouldn't that be the time that you really enjoy it? I kind of sometimes thought that I was being a bit flaky. Flaky is probably not the right word, but I felt like I was wasting time. And sometimes I kind of started to think maybe I'm running away from something. But what I've come to understand is I wasn't. I was just done learning in that area. I'd outgrown it. And for people wired like me, or maybe like you, learning is where the fire lives. But there is one more thing that as an INTJ perhaps trips you up. It certainly tripped me up a lot when I was younger. It's not only about learning and achieving. So about 4 years ago, I was a teacher, and I became a teacher because it made sense. It was logical, practical. Both my parents were great teachers. It was stable. And when I started, I was actually very good at it and I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed it for a while. But after some time, the system really started to bug me and I didn't agree with it or what I was teaching. So not only did it feel like it was suffocating me, I felt like I was being a part of suffocating my students. So for a while, there are many ways I kind of worked around this and within the system to find my influence within it. But eventually I just knew that I had to leave. So freedom has always been one of my core values. But what I've come to realize is the meaning of that freedom can change as you evolve. So safety is important to me. It's a basic human need. And for a long time, financial safety was my version of freedom. So I tended to choose more jobs that were more structured and more stable, not because they lit me up, but because they helped me meet that value. And at that time, it was enough. And that made sense. Those choices gave me financial freedom. And that did feel like freedom for a little while. But once I hit that point where I felt safe enough, I started to feel restless. I wasn't quite sure why at the time, because on paper, everything was fine. I was actually excellent at what I was doing, but the purpose the job was serving no longer applied to me. It had done its job and I had outgrown it. So then the question became, what does freedom look like now? Is it learning more? Is it having more autonomy? Is it doing things my own way without having to ask for permission? And I've realized the same sort of thing with relationships. I used to have a bit of a fear around them because I equated it with a loss of freedom. But what I was actually feeling was a deeper intuition where I knew I had things to work on: personal insights, self-understanding, personal boundaries, and how I show up. And so if I didn't have those in place before I go into a relationship, those would equate to a loss of freedom. So now I tend to see it a lot differently, because the right partner, someone who is evolving with you, who really makes you feel safe to kind of shine, that type of partner actually enhances your freedom. So your core values themselves don't inherently change, but once you meet them on like a basic level, they often want to be met in deeper and much more nuanced ways. And if you don't recognize that shift, you'll really start to feel off and out of some sort of internal alignment, even when everything looks fine. I used to refer to it as I'm getting itchy. You can check out how to find your inner core values for free in the video I'll link somewhere here, or the link below. You can head to my website. Sometimes you don't need to overhaul your whole life. You just need to ask, is this still giving me what I need? Or am I staying because it once did? You're not meant to stay where you've stopped growing. I firmly believe that for anyone, not just INTJs, but I think for INTJs particularly start to really feel it. And you don't have to throw away what you've built, but you can choose to leverage it towards your next leap. We're naturally wired to live just outside the comfort zone. Certainly not in chaos, but right on the edge of capability. That's where engagement lives. So if you've hit that point where it used to work, but it just doesn't anymore, or you're experiencing a level of unease or restlessness, here are 3 strategies that has helped me navigate that exact moment again and again. So number 1 is move the goalpost. Challenge yourself in a new way. You could teach it, scale it, change your role, rebuild it differently. Just enhance the learning and the challenge of what you're currently doing. Number 2 would be swing to a new vine. Take what you've learned and try and apply it to a new context. I find the challenge of doing that in ways that haven't been done before, or ways that you're not aware of that have been done before, is a really interesting challenge. Like, how can you apply what you do know in an unconventional but productive or systematized way to improve something else? So at the moment, that's what I'm doing with my business. I'm currently working out a better system to blend the healing and change work I do in my coach and therapy practice into actionable growth strategies with the typology insights and theory, which is really interesting for me because it makes sense in my head, but I haven't quite worked out exactly how to map it across cleanly to deliver. Watch this space. So what have you mastered that could launch your next thing? Or what can you take with you into a different area or a different context? And number 3 is to allow yourself to be multi-passionate. Like, it's okay to love depth. It's okay to dabble, and it's okay to move on. It's okay to do things just for the sake of doing it and to learn. I've also realized that it's okay for me to do multiple different things for multiple different reasons that fill my cup in very different ways. I like having multiple different jobs at once. I like having variety. I like doing sport with an intense focus and learning how to optimize my body and my mind, which is even more of a challenge as I start to get older. And I really don't have to get on with a normal life because I am free in my own definition. I'm aligned and I'm safe. And the biggest thing is I'm at peace, all while still pursuing big things. And that suits me best. So if you are gripping something that used to carry you, but it now feels too small, maybe it's not failing you. Maybe you've just grown. And the next vine, it might feel further out, but you're stronger now. And you don't have to let go too soon. Just get stronger and build until the next one's in reach. Then when you're ready, you can swing and let go with the confidence and capacity that you've built. You can find out exactly how to do that in a career context in this video here.